Forget everything Hollywood told you. Before vampires wore tuxedos, spoke with smooth accents, and lived in pristine Gothic mansions, they were a hell of a lot messier. In reality, the original vampires weren't charming. They were bloated, purple-faced, terrifying corpses reeking of the grave. They didn't bite necks. Elegantly they tore at their own burial shrouds and clawed their way out of the dirt, long before Bram Stoker ever picked up a pen to write Dracula. 18th century Eastern European villages were gripped by a very real, very literal terror of the restless dead, and at the heart of this nightmare, the Romanian Strigoi. This is the dark, grotesque folklore that birthed a modern monster. To understand a Strigoi, you have to picture an 18th century village cut off from the world, where the dark felt absolute. A Strigoi wasn't some distant, wealthy aristocrat living in a castle on a hill. It was your neighbor. It was your cousin. It was a troubled soul from your own community. Folklore dictated that you didn't even have to be evil to become one. You just had to be unlucky. Die by suicide, Strigoi. Die unmarried, Strigoi. Even being born with a kolla, piece of birth membrane on your head, or being the seventh son of a seventh son meant your corpse was destined to rise. And once they rose, they didn't just seek out blood. They sought out family. Traditional lore says a Strigoi would return to their old home to sap the life force of their relatives, choke them in their sleep, destroy livestock, and bring devastating plagues upon the village. They were a walking, decomposing parasite, slowly draining the living world they left behind. In the early 1700s, this wasn't just small-town gossip, it was a full-blown medical crisis. A vampire panic swept across Serbia, Romania, and Poland. Entire villages were paralyzed by fear, and things got so intense that government officials and military doctors were actually sent in to document grave excavations. To stop a Strigoi from rising, Hollywood's little wooden crosses were useless. The real rituals were brutal and physical. Villagers pinned corpses down with massive stones. They drove heavy iron or wooden stakes straight through the heart, and, as modern archaeologists have literally discovered in the dirt, they would wedge a sharp iron sickle directly over the corpse's throat, ensuring that if the restless dead tried to sit up, they would instantly decapitate themselves. When Western writers like Bram Stoker stumbled upon these terrifying, dusty government reports from Eastern Europe, they did something fascinating. They sanitized them. They took the raw, visceral, decomposing dread of the village Strigoi and transformed it into the aristocratic, seductive, caped vampire we know today. They gave the monster a tuxedo and a castle, but the real folklore, it was much, much darker. So, which version do you find creepier? The suave count, or the restless neighbor clawing out of the dirt?